Carlito is champion. That's right, folks. On our previous episode, we, Carlito, overcame the challenge known as John Cena in 2007. Nearly insurmountable, but we did it. We are the champ, but the shenanigans have only begun. Returning to our locker room, we've got a new magazine article, Raw and ECW to face off on Monday night. As part of a cross-brand promotion designed to stir rivalry between both Raw and ECW, Carlito is scheduled to take on an ECW extremist in Monday night's main event. GM Coachman enjoys the cross-brand competition, but does admit there's a risk involved. ECW's a little, well, they're a little out of control, you know? And I'm putting my champion out there, right in harm's way. But the show must go on, I suppose. Carlito,
that's me,
says that GM Coachman's fears are unfounded. I appreciate his concern, no doubt. I'm flattered that anyone cares enough to say something like that. But really, it's unnecessary. There's absolutely nobody on the ECW roster who could pose a threat to me, and compared to Raw, ECW is strictly a minor league operation. Heat brought in these magazine articles. They may be published with errors in them, simple grammatical and spelling errors, but boy do they come with the heat, and I can appreciate that.
I understand that you're Raw's champion, and I respect that. Just like I'd hope you'd respect ECW's extremists. But since you obviously don't, I'm going to arrange for some respect to be beaten into you by one of our hardcore, back-breaking maniacs.
We're not going to duck any ECW competitor, let's get right into it. Totally fresh, never used before cutscenes.
Summerslam begins tonight. Hi everybody, this is your barbecue-loving friend Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler, and tonight our champion takes on ECW.
I can't believe our general manager would allow extremely crappy wrestling to appear on Raw.
And from what we've read, the champion might agree with your assessment of ECW.
How could he not? They're second rate, and the champ's gonna prove it tonight.
You're looking at one of the most dangerous men in sports entertainment.
Yeah, none of those ECW superstars have any respect for their opponents, or themselves for that matter.
Well, I hope the champion didn't bite off more than he could chew when he insulted ECW. He certainly hasn't had as much experience in Extreme Rules hardcore matches as his opponent.
Come on, JR. This is our champion we're talking about. Have a little faith.
Yes, sir. Our first look at us as champion. We got that thing spinning. Carlito, Sabu. Battle of the Yellow Bottoms. And you know what? Light work. Champion puts in a strong showing as we easily take care of business over Sabu.
Most people appreciate what incredible athletes what they do. Well,
man, let me tell you, it looks like the champ may have come off the worst for wear here.
I hope that leg isn't seriously injured.
We won't know until he gets it checked out, but I sincerely hope not.
If it is, we've got ECW to blame for injuring our champion.
All the more reason for Raw to have nothing to do with them from now on.
What are you talking about? This looks like the opening shot in
However,
a war
for
to me.
some reason, we seem to be coming out of this match more beat up than Sabu, which I strongly disagree with. ECW is outraged at Carlito. Get in line, brother, pick a number. For being extreme, they are rather sensitive. A minor league operation. A minor league operation? ECW extremist Tommy Dreamer repeats. This so-called minor league operation almost took out Raw's WWE champion. Our guy messed him up pretty bad out there. He got off easy compared to what we could have done, and he's lucky he escaped. Dreamer is referring, of course, to Carlito's match with Sabu, one of the most extreme ECW superstars in the brand's history. Maybe now Carlito will have a little bit of respect for ECW, because I don't think he could cut it here. If not, I have a whole locker room full of extremists who will beat some more respect into him. Champion or no champion. This game's logic is beyond me. They're acting rather tough after I just served Sabu a fat L up on a platter. However, not only kayfabe are we injured from Sabu, but we also are experiencing back spasms. Coach hits us up about our kayfabe injury. Hey there, champ. Our friendly neighborhood orthopedist just contacted me. I want to let you know the x-rays on your foot came back, and as we expected, it's nothing more than a slight sprain. You should fully recover in a matter of mere days. You got lucky though. but your back spasms will give you a problem for a couple weeks. Heal fast, coach. Getting into another article, ECW promises extreme lessons for Raw's champ. Apparently, I issued some kind of challenge along the lines of this week. I am not in the loop on these things and accusations that I make and these things that I do, but we're gonna roll with it. On behalf of ECW, Carlito can consider his challenge answered. He says he's not hurt badly, and he's not, well, not his mouth apparently, and not his ego. But he'd better be careful what he asks for because we'll be all too happy to give it to him. Dreamer is referring to Carlito's latest claim that x-rays indicate only a mild injury at the hands of Sabu, his statement that Sabu is overrated, and his challenge to the extremists is to try again against Raw. As long as Raw has a ring, some tables, and a referee who will stay out of our way, I'm sure I can find an extremist who is willing to teach Raw's WWE champion the meaning of the word extreme.
I've got to admit, champ, I'm a little nervous about you challenging ECW to come to Raw the way you have. The last thing I want is a bunch of filthy extremists running wild on my show. I trust you'll be able to maintain order.
All I know that coach has got to chill because we are on a 15-match win streak. That's going to do us nicely for that legend progress. Sandman wants to make our match a tables match. It ain't nothing. I don't think Sandman realizes that I am #1 on the power rankings.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw, everybody. We're entering week 2 of the Raw ECW rivalry. Boomer Sooner, everybody. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler at ringside, and it sounds like our champion wants another piece of ECW.
Well, after the way he limped away from last week's match, his pride is on the line.
He narrowly avoided serious injury last week. I hope his luck holds.
It's a risk, but he's our champion, and he's got to stand up for Raw.
More of the same cutscene.
He's taken exception to our champion's comments about ECW, and he's determined to beat some respect into him tonight.
And as much as I hate to admit it, this is his kind of match. A table match.
The champ hasn't been shy about expressing his opinions, but he hasn't ducked a challenge either.
There's nothing wrong with running your mouth, as long as you can back it up, JR.
So Sandman, much like his friend, his ECW counterpart, Sabu, he got this work, he came for the smoke, and he received the smoke. And not only did we defeat him in the match that he had asked for, but we embarrassed him by sending him through a table via drop toe hold, y'all.
Heading back to ECW with a concussion.
Serves him right. Trying to embarrass Raw's champion like that.
Well, I hate to see an injury happen to any superstar or extreme for that matter.
Well, now there's no question that Raw can get extreme with the best of them.
That's for sure. That was a slobber knocker of a match, and I'm just glad our champion seems to have escaped injury.
And that should convince ECW to stay off of Raw from now on.
It's gotta be said, I love how petty Carlito is. We are just making Sandman feel like a fool.
Finally, this ECW nonsense is behind us, and we can get down to business, namely finding you a #1 contender for SummerSlam. I've got my eye on a few superstars, and I'll keep you posted.
Coach wants to find us a #1 contender, but we've got a magazine article to go over first. ECW takes lumps from Raw's champ. So who really is the most extreme? After responding to Carlito's open challenge last week, Sandman found himself on the receiving end of a beating of his own, resulting in a possible concussion after the two cross-brand superstars faced off in a tables match. Who's the extreme one now, huh? Lots of talk. And the only thing extreme about Sandman is how extremely lucky he was to leave the ring under his own power when I was done with him. I've said it before and I'll say it again, minor leagues. Okay guys, I don't even want to read this out loud, I just want you to see this. Tell me that this game is completed. Then I'm amazed that they're allowed to make money off of this. In a terse reply, Tommy Dreamer said only that Sandman's injury was not severe. It looked a lot worse than it was, and I promised that Carlito has not seen the last of ECW. When asked, he declined to follow up on this statement. But come on, guys, who was supposed to be the quality check? Who was the QA on this? Still number one. We've got another article revolving around this guy, Randy Orton. Orton accuses the champ of dodging him. Randy, I've never lost to you, brother. What are you talking about? One Raw superstar who has watched the budding ECW Carlito feud with interest is Randy Orton, contender for the WWE Championship. Orton feels that Carlito is setting himself up for a fall. If what he's done with ECW is any indication, SummerSlam is not going to be a fun time for him. He's too busy playing with ECW to retain his championship. He's not focused on the real competition, not to mention how he's risking injury against guys who have no real concern for their own well-being. Orton ultimately feels that Carlito's involvement with ECW is based upon fear of his own brand's roster. I understand why he doesn't want to compete with Raw superstars. Sooner or later he'd have to fight me, and he knows he'll lose. Randy, if you want that smoke, brother, I will give it to you. I got some text messages to check, but then I'ma bring you them hands that you are begging for. I got to thinking about who'd be a worthy challenger for your WWE Championship. With the heat that Orton managed to generate with his recent interview, he said you were afraid of the Raw roster. You know, I think he's the perfect choice to be the number one contender. I want to see how he looks against you, so you're gonna have a non-title match with him this week on Raw. Better get ready, Coach. Coach, I ain't gonna lie, man, I thought you were looking out for me just a moment ago. I turn around and now you're trying to help out the dude who was dogging me? Listen, I don't know what you've gotten into, but I'm a little nervous here. I don't know what I've done either. Frankly, if you want to get beat up, that's your problem. But I don't want to stand by and watch Raw or the legacy of the WWE Championship get ruined on account of your ego. I got an email from Dreamer, and all he wrote was, prepare to be taken to the extreme.
Hey there, champ. I hope you're ready for the beating of a lifetime tonight. You'd better be, because what I do to you tonight is nothing compared to what I'm gonna do to you at SummerSlam.
Welcome to Raw, everybody. We're less than 2 months from SummerSlam. Hello again, everybody. I'm good old JR Jim Ross alongside the Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler at ringside. And tonight, the champion faces his potential challenger.
And that's going to be a great match. But I'm just glad we're over that ECW nonsense.
One can only hope so, King. The champ should be focused on his title defense.
Absolutely. His challenger's no pushover, and you'll see that tonight.
This is his chance to earn himself a number one contender spot at SummerSlam, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year.
Yeah, and we need a huge main event. SummerSlam's a cross-brand pay-per-view, and Raw has to prove that we're superior to SmackDown.
This is not our normal entrance. There's absolutely nothing gonna go wrong here.
That ECW piece of trash is back, and he's assaulting the champ.
This is downright unforgivable. He's got no reason in the world to be out here.
Look out! There's another one. This is awful, JR.
For the love of God and everything that's good, somebody get out here and stop this.
I don't know, JR. I think the damage might have been done.
And we get jumped pre-match, and then we just walk our happy asses down to the ring and act like nothing happened. We had an ineffective appearance from Sandman, Randy Orton, who continues to use very familiar offense from what we experienced the first time around. And this match was back and forth, but Randy kept reversing every damn move I was trying to hit, man. And I ain't even talking Bret Hart. Just when your boy was starting to get some momentum, swinging things around, Randy absolutely racked me and hit me with a move that most men just can't come back from. And we suffered our first loss of the series at the hands of Randy Orton, but with an asterisk. Them ECW sons of bitches definitely gave him an advantage.
What was he thinking? Trying to compete after that ECW ambush.
He's a proud man, Cherry, and I'm afraid his pride got the better of him.
You've got to pick your battles, especially when you're the champion.
I just hope his injuries are less severe than they appear to be.
Yeah, if he's hurt badly, he might have to forfeit the championship.
Things are not looking good for the champion now, but we gon' bounce back.
Word in the locker room is that you're not seriously injured, so that means you've got no reason not to work with me to get rid of ECW. I'd rather fight against you than with you, but it's obvious that that's not gonna happen until we take care of ECW.
So Randy's gonna try to make it seem like he did not tell those ECW motherfuckers to jump me before the match, because I know he was involved in it. You ain't gonna tell me otherwise. I don't believe him. He's a snake. And we've got another article. ECW continues to dog the champ. For the second time in recent weeks, WWE Champion Carlito has narrowly avoided serious injury at the hands of ECW's extremists in what was scheduled to be a one-on-one non-title match between Raw's WWE Champion Carlito, that's me, and Randy Orton. ECW's Sandman and Sabu involved themselves before the contest, jumping Carlito and injuring him before the bout. And now, Carlito isn't the only one upset about the course of events. That was my chance to show that I'm the legitimate #1 contender to the championship. With ECW's interference, this was ruined. Apparently, Orton is ready to jump into the scrum with ECW as well. They've got to be taken care of. ECW has to be dealt with once and for all. He's on some bullshit. He's playing us for a fool. I don't believe him. What's gonna happen next? Am I right? Or is Randy genuine and sincere? We're gonna find out probably in the next episode. And we'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Leave some feedback down below. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Later.